video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie and I talk about personal development and spirituality and bringing them together to help raise the consciousness of the planet. So in this video, I felt very called to talk about triggers because it's something we all experience and it's one of our greatest teachers and the greatest opportunity for growth. So first, I'm going to talk about what are triggers, how to recognize them, the benefit of healing our triggers, and some practical steps to further heal our triggers. So first off, a trigger is when we feel this inner reactivity, whether it's anger, rage, jealousy, any emotional response we feel that we don't like. And we know it's a trigger when we have an emotion, our emotions completely take over us from an external stimuli. So if a person said something and it caused you to be triggered, you see something on social media that somebody posts and that causes you to be triggered, or maybe you hear a song on the radio and it triggers you. So a lot of times when we feel triggered, we instantly go outward and we say, put the blame on other people, and we go into a complete victim mentality. But our triggers are, instead of going outwards, it's an invitation to go inward, because triggers are what they actually are. They're unhealed emotional wounds that we have within ourselves. And the reason why we have triggers is because our triggers serve as a protective mechanism. So we don't have to look at our wounds within ourselves. So a lot of our triggers, most of our triggers actually stem from childhood trauma, whether it's something very small or big. And you can think of our triggers like a Band-Aid. So let's say we have a cut, we put the Band-Aid over it to protect us. But the thing about triggers is that the healing journey, it requires to take off this Band-Aid and just go to the root of our healing. So the benefit of healing our triggers is that once we heal our triggers, then we change our whole experience of reality. Our perception of our external completely changes, and our experience with the people in our lives change as well. And we ultimately just live a happier, more fulfilling life with less suffering, ultimately. So first off, it's completely okay to feel triggered. It's not a bad thing. We have this belief about triggers that it's something to push away and that's an uncomfortable feeling. But when we can start to see our triggers and be grateful for them because they're teaching us something and it's an invitation to go inward, then we have less resistance around triggers. So for example, I'll give a trigger that I have with myself. When I was younger, I had sexual abuse. It wasn't anything extreme, but now when I watch TV shows or movies and there's something happening and it's very like rough sexual behavior, it triggers me and I don't like it and I instantly want to change it. But that's my invitation to look inward and seeing what needs to be healed within myself. Another example is if maybe you see someone post something on social media and you instantly feel jealous and you feel triggered by this person because maybe they're just living a really good life and maybe they're reflecting an insecurity you have within yourself, or they're reflecting something back onto you that needs to show you that maybe that you need to love yourself even more, something like that. So it's important to recognize the things that trigger us, and instead of reacting instantly when we feel triggered by others or anything outside, to take a moment to pause and create space in the moment and recognize when you are feeling triggered and say, oh, I feel myself feeling triggered right now. And instead of reacting, just respond from your higher self. And later on in the day, you can get out a journal and write down everything that triggered you throughout your day, and then ask why. Why did this trigger me? And ask, like, what is the core wound underneath this trigger? And really go back in time and think about what caused you to feel emotionally really reactive to this thing. Our core wound behind triggers is actually the statement of, I'm not being loved the way I deserve to be loved. That is really the root of a lot of our triggers. It's really wild because all we have to do is raise our level of our self-awareness when we're noticing ourselves being triggered, shedding light on our wounds and letting ourselves to fully feel the feelings that this wound is creating within us. That itself is healing the wound just by doing those simple steps. So after you do this, you can acknowledge your inner child. So whether you want to journal and let your inner child out and let your inner child express its hurt and its pain for whatever it is, really put it on paper, or you can visualize your inner child in front of you and you're having a conversation with your inner child and letting your inner child speak how it feels, because there was a time where it didn't have the opportunity, because your inner child's always still a part of you. It's still integrated within you. And then after you do this practice, you can send love to your inner child and really give them the love and the support and say everything that you think your inner child needs to hear, whether they need to be loved or feel safe, whatever it may be. And then whenever you feel ready, you can ask your inner child to merge with you into your heart and allow them to dissolve into you. So this is a more advanced form of healing, but it's really, really powerful. And the thing is that to do it in your own pace, because sometimes we're not ready for that yet. We have to move slowly with this healing journey. And then the last step is to close your eyes and envision white light coming through your crown chakra and going into your body and into your wounds and just filling yourself up with white light inside. And that's really everything. So all you have to do is raise your level of self-awareness and notice and catch yourself when you are feeling triggered, asking yourself why, what is causing me to feel triggered in this situation, going back in time and finding the root cause or experience that is making you feel that way, and then do this inner child healing work and the visualization practice. So remember that your triggers are not about other people. It has everything to do with ourselves. And when we can change our relationship with our triggers and express gratitude when we feel them instead of pushing them away, then that's our first step to healing. So thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope it brought you a lot of value, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and like it. And I just want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful day today.